Hey everybody, Larry Lawton here. Got a great video. It's gonna be fun talking about the behind the scenes of the A&E piece. It's about my life and it's pretty wild too. But the behind the scenes stuff is what is really interesting. And before I get started, please, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Go to the playlist. You'll learn a lot and see a lot. Also, please go to our member programs on YouTube, member programs on Patreon. Check out Gangster Redemption, the book. It's crazy ride. I had to go. I get a phone call by A&E, and they said, listen, we'd like to do a piece on you. We'd like to fly you to New York, and we'll pay all your expenses, do everything well. We're gonna do a piece on your life and how it worked. And I said, sure. I mean, we'll discuss that. And I normally get a lot of requests to do TV shows and stuff, but being this was internet-based, meaning Facebook was involved, this was all over Facebook. I want to do things more with the internet because I know how I connect with young people and I connect with people, and most young people are not on TV. I don't know anybody under 50 almost that has TV anymore. Even myself, the only reason I have TV is because my mom, my mom is 88. It's the only reason I have TV. Otherwise, I wouldn't have TV. So, anyway, going on what I'm doing, I ended up saying, sure. I fly up to New York. They fly you, regular class, all that, but they put you up in a nice hotel. I got to see my brother, got to see my son and my grandkids. And I figured, hey, I'm not a rich guy. Why don't I just get it paid by A&E? So we go up there. They said you're from car service from the airport, and you get a Manhattan hotel and all that. And sure enough, I do that, but I go right to my son's house in Brooklyn. He has an apartment in Brooklyn, and I do that, and I see my grandkids, which, I love my grandkids, so I'm gonna see my grandkids anytime I can. I have to give A&E, who was the main producers of the show. They were great. They really were. They were top notch. They went around, and it took a long time. I mean, I think it was a 3 or 4 camera shoot. I think 3 camera shoot, assistants, production people. Their office was on like 50th and 2nd Avenue, I want to say 1st, 2nd, right near the UN, right near the United Nations building. Maybe it was a little lower, but yeah, it was somewhere up around there. And so I had a hotel right there, and it was great because the hotel I'm looking at over the East River, the United Nations, it was pretty cool. And here I am, and A&E did the right thing. They paid all the expenses and stuff like that. But you can imagine how long it takes to do these things. People think they just happen. This piece, that we're gonna go through, they think it just happens. No, I probably filmed for 8 hours, maybe more, because then we even went to the streets, and I'll show you this. I was the biggest jewel robber in the United States. I didn't fear anything because I didn't think I'd be alive today. They named it the Redemmed, and what they did was they picked 8 people, or there were 7 or 8 people that redeemed their lives from prison and bad places. So it was a pretty good honor to get picked to do this. So I enjoyed that part of it. I grew up in the Bronx, and we grew up in a little house. I really started getting into crime at 12 years old. When I saw these pictures, because I give them pictures and stuff, this picture just made me like, oh my God, look at how I look. Look at this little kid. And as this little kid grows up, you're gonna see some crazy shit. But it's a really good piece, and that's why I thought I have to tell you about this piece. I would work with organized crime families in my neighborhood who were running the ticket operation. I would take gambling tickets around the neighborhood so the community can bet on football games. And the money came easy, and that's how I, as a young person, got hooked into organized crime. And it did test you. You had to be good, you had to hustle, and the more I did that, the more I liked it. Graduated to robbing cars. But I knew the path was a dangerous path I was on. So I ended up going into service at 17 years old. I went in the United States Coast Guard. There's another picture I like, everybody, I looked at the Coast Guard, and I loved it. I really did. I don't know who's out there in the Coast Guard, but I really did love it. And I ended up getting hurt and had to leave at 7.5 years. And I got retired. I'm a retired Coast Guard BM2, which is what you see in here. I was on ships. I was a coxswain. I was a small boat captain. That's the little one on the bottom. So I understand, Coast. I mean, just my life. And this actually show brought a little bit back to my life. When I see something this and well done like that, I think it's cool. Just like I think the Vice show is gonna be real cool.
I ended up getting out at about 25 years old because I did 7.5 years, tried the straight and narrow, didn't work. And I got right into being a bouncer, a loan shark, and a bookmaker. And who takes notice? The Gambino crime family. And that's when I got into the bigger time stuff.
Now, you're seeing this jewelry stuff right away. We actually went into Manhattan to the Diamond Exchange. Now, in New York, the Diamond Exchange is on 47th Street between 5th and 6th, or 6th and 7th, 5th and 6th, is the Diamond Exchange. And that at all shops, this is where the Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler was made. All of this stuff was right there, because it is where a lot of the rich people go. The real Diamond Exchange, I know where that is, but this is where they brought me. And it was funny, because we had 2 cameras on this shoot, on the street, and the guys are running around, you got guys holding cables, and people are going, and these jewelry people are out there looking like, what the fuck you doing? You don't belong around here. And you know, we had to tell them, someone would tell them, hey listen, we're just doing a piece on this, and some of them didn't want to be filmed. Obviously some did, they can be in the show, but some didn't. So, and the people coming around, they don't stop in New York. It's not like we got permits and all that shit. It wasn't that kind of a production. We just went on the streets and did it. It's pretty good.
My first robbery was actually where the jewelry store owner wanted his place robbed so he can take the insurance money and we take the jewelry, so everybody wins. I knew the layout of the place, I knew what to do, and it was a very easy job. I made $150,000 in a half hour.
Yeah, you know, making that kind of money is very addicting, and you know, remembering this and bringing it back also brings memory of the bad times of my life and losing my kids, which you'll see that too.
That's when I figured out that's what I want to do.
This store looks like it's got high value.
You have to first find out if there's money in the place, and the second step is to see if I can get away with it. And I would jump that counter. When I jumped that counter, I had a gun in his face. Down, get down, get down! He'd get on the floor, he'd freak out, I'd tie him up, I'd wipe out the whole jewelry store. And then within 24 hours, all the diamonds I stole were out of my hands and they were sold.
Now, let me explain something before we even go further. I never robbed in New York City. They're all protected stores by different families. Or, you know, they're connected. You can't do that. You'll get killed doing that. A guy like me who they knew did it, you're done. Can't happen.
So I robbed between $15 and $18 million up and down the East Coast. I robbed over 20 stores, and I had a hell of a run. I went from 1989 till 1996 when I got caught. You know, how they eventually got to me is because one of the jewelry stores that I cased, the lady in the jewelry store ended up getting my plate.
Now they're showing that like as if it was a camera that got it. No, the lady actually, I think, went outside and got my plate number. But it was close.
The day I got caught, my wife at the time, I had a 15-month-old baby.
This is the part that made me hurt, and that's my daughter, obviously Ashley. That's me back in the day.
So all of a sudden, my wife goes out and I hear her scream, "They're coming, they're coming!" And I jump out of my chair, in comes my front door, flies in, and it's the guys in the masks and everything, and they got guns pointing. I turn around to go back to the outside patio in the back of the house, and they're coming through the patio, and they got all ninja'd up and stuff. Whoa, at this time, it's like, hands up, okay.
Yeah, that was a rough one. Having my son, who I'm very close with, and my daughter I'm very close with, she was 15 months old. He just turned 7. He was 6 because he was down for my party in July 4th. At 6 years old, was funny stories there. And he came back. Now, when they're doing these shows, they took, again, I talked 8 hours, probably 8 hours for this video. So people think, you know, oh, they get the best, they know what they're doing. I'm not like that, we're not like that. You get me, you get Larry, that's just the way it is.
They convicted me on 4 robberies in 4 different states. The judge said 144 months, and you don't understand what that is until you start calculating in your head. That's 12 years.
You know, when they start talking about time, it's to this day, you know, oh, you got 72 months. Think about the months, add them up. You got 120 months. 120 months is 10 years. 60 months, obviously, is 5 years. So adding up months, when you had 144 months, you had a lot of time. But again, all of that, I still wear this shirt. It's because I believe in it to this day. I don't believe in bad people, I believe in bad choices.
It's 12 years of your life you just lost. And I was going to United States Penitentiary, Atlanta. It was the worst prison at the time in the country. At the time, there were 2,000 inmates, 880 had life sentences.
You know, it's funny, while I was doing the show, you know, we take breaks, obviously, and all that, to eat lunch, talk, all this kind of stuff, get camera angles, lighting, noise, something happens. And I end up telling stories to the staff, you know, the cameramen, sound people, everybody. They're mesmerized. They're just hanging out with Larry, and I'm telling you, know, that's what happens with me. I mean, we could just be sitting and talking, and something triggers a memory, and I start talking about that story or whatever it is, and this triggered so much. It was like, oh my God. And I don't even realize it. At the end, they're all like blown away, saying we could do a 2-hour show on you. I get it, but you know, obviously they had their project to do.
In the prison system, things happen, but you go to the hole for the littlest thing, and the hole is a prison within the prison. It's literally a 8-foot by 10-foot cell with a steel toilet and bed, and they don't let you out.
When I talked about the hole, and I still talk about the hole in my series here, gives me goosebumps. It really does. It's something that I never want to wish on anybody, and it's just the worst. Obviously, talking about this kind of stuff gives you the goosebumps and stuff like that. It's just something that, yeah, I survived, and I'm not no better than anybody else for sure, but I survived it.
I ended up going to the hole for 3 years out of my 11. You go crazy. You think of suicide, you think of your family, you think of your kids all the time. And it's a place I don't want anybody to ever see. So I did a lot of time in the hole. And after getting out, I started studying the law, and I got very good at the law, and I ended up attaining my paralegal degree in prison.
You know, it's great because when I talk about that part of it, I always think about people I helped. People I helped in the system who got what they call shots or infractions or law, and we filed 2255s and try to help people get out of prison by ineffective assisted counsel and a lot of other ways. And it's one of the good parts of prison is to learn that and meet people who are really good people, just made fucked up mistakes.
I was getting close to getting out, and I kept seeing young people come in, and I'm thinking how they've ruined their lives. 21, 22-year-old people come into prison. They got to associate with some kind of gang for survival, and all of a sudden they might have to stab someone to save their life. I said to myself when I got out of prison, I got to help young people realize this is not the way to go.
That was my whole thought through the halfway house, just survival. But how was I going to accomplish that? I had no idea. And here's how it happened.
I ended up getting out of prison on August 24th, 2007. Never forget the day. I was like free at last. But at that point,
whenever I look at this picture, I smile. Obviously, I was the best shape of my life. I was 46 years old, just got out of prison, doing 1,000 push-ups, 1,000 crunches in 50 minutes, 55 minutes. It was always under an hour, sometimes 45 minutes. I used to get records for myself. I was in buck-ass shape. Now, I'm a big guy who's old and slow, and gotta get in shape, man. I really do. These pictures make me want it. Gotta put it on a board.
But at that point, I didn't know what I was gonna do with my life. A friend of mine comes to me and says, "Hey, Larry, I need a favor." Oh, I caught my 16-year-old smoking weed, and he said, "F you, Dad, where have you ever been?"
Now, you all know me on the show. I love weed. I'm a believer in it should be legal, but it should never be legal for a 16-year-old. If you're 16 out there and say, fucking Larry, man, we like him, but you don't want... Listen, man, I know what you're gonna do, but you shouldn't drink either. Are you gonna do it? We all did it, but you shouldn't. And the reason I only say that, guys, is because your brain ain't developed yet, you know? I was never a big druggie when I was a young kid, and that's what helped. I might have to be a druggie later in life, but really, it made my brain develop to its fullest, and I think that was a big help, to be honest. So I don't believe it. It's not that this kid was a bad kid, but telling his dad go fuck himself, I don't like that. I don't like disrespect like that.
So I got pictures together of me in prison with gang members, and I took these pictures over to his house, started talking to the kid. I said, "You told your father where the F you have been? Let me show you where the F I just came from." From there, I ended up developing the nationally accepted reality check program, which is now has the highest success rate in the United States with helping young people make better choices and stay out of prison.
And that is true. And, you know, I love my program. I have it on video right in the links if anybody ever wants to read it or watch it. You know, working with law enforcement, it has its positives and negatives, and you'll hear that.
It's now in court systems all over the world, and police agencies use it as well. And I love the fact that now I could help them with my experiences and my knowledge of life.
It really is powerful when you can help young people. I love that. And I love that a lot of you guys listen, and I get a lot of emails that are positive. Hey Larry, you helped me stop doing drugs, or you know, I was depressed. We all go through it, man, so I don't think you're alone. Everybody gets fucked up in their life, one way or the other. All the perfect shit is bullshit. Always remember that.
I also help jewelry store owners and police investigate and catch criminals.
You know, I like when I said that. It's true. I mean, but they don't ask me. Some of them do. Obviously, I'm not going to go on the payroll and go there. I'm not a bounty hunter by any stretch of the imagination. But they might get tips and want to know what this meant or something like that. Obviously, you do that.
Whenever there's any kind of robbery or major robbery, I'm approached by either the jewelry companies or the police to see if I can pick up on something different.
Every major robbery, France, Germany, all of them, I get called by the news, the media, somebody, law enforcement, or like I said, Jewelers Mutual, which is insurance companies. What do you think? Well, you know, obviously it's a professional job, how many people I think did it and all that.
And then in 2013, I was recognized on the floor of the United States Congress for helping young people and helping police agencies. And it was very humbling to be accepted as one of the good guys. I feel that now there's a purpose, and I think we all need to look back at ourselves.
You know, when I say one of the good guys, I mean the good cops. You know that. The dirty cops and the pieces of shit, obviously not. But there are good ones out there, and they're just doing their job. Everybody's doing their job. I like one person said, Larry, you snitched. Snitch? Go fuck yourself, motherfucker. Let me tell you what snitching is. Snitching is Larry and you, let's say, do a crime together. Well, you go to the police after you get caught and say, you know who my partner was? Larry Lawton. I never did that, and I never would. That's snitching. Trying to get yourself out of trouble because you got caught and get your friends in trouble to get a lesser sentence is snitching. If you get robbed out there right now and you call the cops, that's not even close to snitching. If an old lady gets robbed, something happens, that's not snitching. Snitching is when you're hurting your fellow guy by doing a crime with him and knowing the details, and now snitching on him to get a lighter sentence. You are a regular Joe or a guy doesn't in this game, and you go to the police because you get robbed and pick them out of a lineup, good for fucking you. Still make the cops do their job. Now if they catch one of the guys and he ends up saying, well, listen, I'll tell you who my partner was if you let me off. That's snitching. Cops doing their job is never snitching. I interviewed Joe Pistone, who was the Donnie Brasco in the movie Donnie Brasco with Al Pacino, Johnny Depp, and someone said, "Oh, he's a snitch. He's a fucking cop who did his job. FBI did his job well." How do you hate that? That's being an immature dude who thinks you're better, that you should get a pass from everybody, and that's not how it works, guys. This video opens me up to show that. Listen, I can redeem myself. I redeemed myself. I hope people who do crimes and stuff redeem themselves, because you can't do it for the rest of your life.
When we were younger and look and use our experiences to try to help people, I often tell people who are in trouble, the best thing you can do is help another person, because you're actually helping yourself when you're helping others.
That is the best statement I ever make. When I help people, when I do something, I feel good because it's making me feel good. Of course it's helping them, and I feel good about that. But it's like my own therapy. It makes me never want to go back into the crappy world I lived. Although I know I could, it makes me never want to do that. It really does. makes me say, man, there's too much to life. There's too much good things going on. There's good people out there. We can't fucking let that happen. You know, I want you guys to go read, if you haven't, go to my playlist and watch the Gangster Redemption series. I narrate my whole book. If you don't want to buy it, I narrate my whole book. The whole book. Go to the playlist, watch from video 1 or video 20 or whatever it is, and you're going to understand what I went through and what I was as a criminal, because I don't hold anything back. Good, bad, or indifference. I don't do that. If anybody knows me on this channel, listen to me, I'm going to tell it like it is. It is what it is. You know, I call it, you know, all the bad stuff as well as the good stuff. It is what it is. I am who I am. I am the least perfect person you'll ever meet. But I do want to help people. I do the right thing by people, and I never want that to change. Doing this video with A&E was great because, one, the behind the scenes was great. They treated me with respect, got me to the airport on time, gave me what I needed, never questioned anything, and I don't do crazy shit anyway. So it's not like I'm going to fucking, you know, $1,000 dinner or some shit. And but they took care of everything, and it was a fun shoot. The people who did the shoot were great, and they even respect that I do what I do and try to help people. And I did this a long time ago, this clip. I don't know how long ago, but it was I don't know, 6 months ago. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you understand a little bit more about me. And watch what's coming up. Vice TV has done a piece on me. I think I was a teenage felon on one of those shows. It's an hour show coming out. I think it's September. So make sure you look at that show as well. All right? It's going to be good. And listen, I know, please subscribe. I very rarely ask people to do things and stuff like that. But if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Comment. If you know anything about me, I answer comments after every single video. Something I like to do. I like to see the reaction of people, and they comment and I answer. And I do a lot of that. And it's something I hope I never quit doing, because I like to interact with people. With that said, man, remember my shirt. I don't believe in bad people. I believe in bad choices. Make good choices, man. Stay safe. Have fun. Make good choices and do one good thing for somebody every day. Whether it's opening a door for an old lady, carrying a package, or stopping at a tool booth and telling a guy, hey, thank you for doing what you're doing. You're going to be helping somebody more than you know. I hope you have that mentality. Thank you for being one of my subscribers or fans. And any suggestions, put them in the links, stuff like that. Have a great day, everybody. Stay strong. Lots of respect.